All right, welcome back. Who we firing? It's like a game I like to call New Game Sweep of the Nation. It's called Who We Firing? Who we firing? Who we firing on this? Dolphins are out of the playoffs.
Do I want to be a part of this?
Yeah. No judgments today. No judgments.
I'm not going to judge anybody, but I just would like.
Who we firing?
You know what? Here's the deal. I'm not mad that people are mad and want a body.
25 years, dude.
And want a body.
Remember when we started meetings at 8:24?
You were so cute.
But here's what I hate.
That worked.
And here's what I would hate.
Yeah.
And this is the honest truth.
Hmm?
Sometimes your solution and what people think the solution is put you in a worse spot, and it'll have you waiting another 5 or 6 or 7 years, and you don't even realize it because you want to be satisfied right now.
I want to be satisfied right now.
So you don't care if it takes. So then you'll say it's been 30 years. So then you'll say, at what point are you going to have the patience?
Do they feel close to 26?
All right. Never mind.
Who
All right,
firing,
go ahead.
Leroy?
You know, that's like,
You don't
just
sound like you want to play who we firing.
in all fairness,
Hmm?
this is why I root for the worst.
Why?
Because I understand people want something to happen,
Mm-hmm.
but don't you have to, like, doesn't it have to be a part where I don't want to ruin everything, but just because to make me satisfied and something happen?
Could we play Who We Firing and maybe you'll like it?
Okay.
Maybe you'll like it.
Okay.
You know? You don't know.
Okay.
It's a new game.
Okay.
Brandon,
Okay.
who we firing?
Hey there, Tobin. I love the show. Excited to be on. It's got to be Chris Grier. I mean, that's just the obvious answer. I don't think anybody's, doing a hot take with that. But it's just, to me, it's always been that he does not have a vision for this team. He does not, you don't look at Chris Grier and say, what identity is he building for this team? To me, he's an Instacart shopper for whatever coach he brought in. He's just out here shopping for groceries. He doesn't even know what he's getting. And then half the time he's getting spoiled groceries from the back of the aisle that nobody wanted. To me, it's just the lack of vision from a GM level. Like, you look at other teams, they know what they're doing. They're building towards something, like a shared vision. I don't think Grier has vision. I think he's just out there getting whatever, next coach he brings in. Man. So that's my problem with him.
Brandon's firing Chris Grier.
Hey,
I like the idea.
I can't.
I like the idea of Chris Grier having the Amazon cart and be like, 25% off.
No. Tyreek Hill. All right.
Goes,
I'm like, that was very, that's what I'm saying. I can't be mad at you.
Right.
I think one of the things that, and I'll give you a perfect example. The Panthers GM, how he built it, how he had a base and then added like-minded stars to that base.
out of the perfect guys.
Right.
Perfect yin to Barkov's yin.
Right. Exactly. He didn't just go sign all of the big name players. So from that standpoint, yes, I'm okay.
I think Leroy likes who we firing.
Like I'm 100% with you there. I can't be mad at him.
Evander, who we firing?
Tobes, what's good? Leroy, what's good?
What's happening?
Good, buddy. How are you?
Leroy, man. Before I came on, what I was gonna say, you almost took the words right out of my mouth. You can't fire everybody, but Grier, when I say he has to go, here's why I think he has to go. You did all this drafting, you had all these picks, you traded back, it was all cute. None of it worked. Like, the Texans are better than us, and we had all their picks.
That's a rough
They
look.
were behind us in the rebuild, bro. Like, it has to be Grier. You can't fire Mike McDaniel because you need some type of consistency. And also, I don't want to fire. I know he's new, but imagine firing him and he goes somewhere else and gets it right. I don't want the Dolphins to be his growing pains and he go somewhere else and turn into Dan Campbell. You know what I mean?
Hey,
so
I lived through that.
I think it has to be Grier.
I lived through that.
Appreciate
with
it,
Bill
Evander.
Belichick.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, I can't. And here is why I can't argue with any of these guys. One, because we have no idea about GMs, right? Do we really know who would be a good GM or not?
No.
Right.
But this guy's been in the building now for.
Right. No, I'm not. I'm just saying from the standpoint of I can't get mad at anybody because I can't definitively say, oh, it's let's get this guy or that guy.
Mm-hmm.
We know other coaches. We know other quarterbacks. We know other offensive linemen. So it's easier to say we need this, this, or this.
Rome is saying fire everyone, including the valet parking guys. That's a bit strong. We don't have to fire the parkers.
That's a bit.
It's a bit. It's, it's not their fault.
They're not parking the car good enough, clearly, baby.
Right.
Definitely not their fault.
Let's go to Wally. Who we firing?
Hey, Leroy. Hey, Tobin.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, man. You're talking to somebody that used to walk through the Orange Bowl as a little kid in 1970 to watch these people play. So I've been watching the Dolphins for a long time. Okay?
A wee lad.
And this is the worst I've ever seen. This guy, Grier, has to go. He was given a plethora of picks to build a team. And today, to my non-expert expectations and knowledge, I think we're worse off than when we got all those picks for Laramie Tunsil. He traded a second and a third round pick for Eichenberg, which is crazy. Oof. He has Tyndall, he has Smith on defense, and neither of them can play a lick. He picks players who are injured and cast-offs from other teams who were past, like, excellent players, and now they're like a shell of themselves. And that's who he picks because he doesn't trust himself. So, you know what? We don't trust him. He's got to go.
Wow, Wally's fine. Chris Grier is the common theme today. I will say, I would just tell Chris Grier, I could never do your job. But take a look at the durability thing. You really seem to not care about that. And guys who get hurt a lot seem to still get hurt a lot.
I don't think he can do his job either, basically. Really, so I think you're good.
I would say that here's what I've learned over the last few years. When every team has struggled and every team has had to either rebuild or stay consistent, they always start with the offensive and defensive line. So they'll always do that. And they'll start there. A great offense and defensive line can make an average offense or an average defense look better. But a bad offensive defensive line, sometimes your skill positions can't make them look better.
Can I say this?
Yeah.
Steven says, who we firing? Everybody.
Everybody. So, and I get if that's what you want to do.
People are mad today, man.
I get that's what you want to do.
Let's talk to Handsome Daffy. Hello, Handsome Daffy. Who we firing?
What's going on, guys?
What's happening?
Well, we already fired OBJ, fired Skyler. Those are two great fires.
Oh, man. Boy, Skyler got out there. I'm waved.
I mean, the theme for today is going to be Chris Grier.
Yeah.
And anybody who agrees with Chris Grier, anybody who wants him there, they all should be fired.
They should be fired too?
just for thinking.
Yeah.
Just for thinking.
Anybody who agrees with it, you don't even have to work for the organization. You can work at the post office. If you agree that he should be there, it should fire you right now.
Wow. If you make Chris Grier's latte in the morning and you think he's a nice guy, you need to be fired from Starbucks.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. Be a lot of people without jobs for Christmas.
Whoo! Wow.
People are upset at Chris Grier.
So
I think we're finding a theme.
Now, yeah. If I have any questions about what made it or what has them struggling right now and this team struggling, there's two things. You're not physical enough up front. On the defensive line, you are.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but those guys can't play.
Poor Zach Sealer. What a season we're
right.
wasting.
On offensive line, not very physical. Just not. A 3-step drop, and there's guys standing with Tua before he can bring the ball up to throw it. You need a physical running game. I don't know whether it's because your line's not physical, because guess what? If you look at all the other places that this system was ran, right? San Fran, you go to Atlanta, they all ran the ball extremely well. So I'm not just buying that it's the system. The second thing, and this is more important, there is too many high draft picks watching the game from the sidelines.
That's right.
Too many.
Too many.
And if you look at all of the successful teams, they all have young guys playing really well on the cheap. And that's how you excel, and that's how you can make moves. You don't make the moves first and then try to go cheap. And that's what happened. Like they kind of did it backwards in that they went and got all these free agents, got rid of all these draft picks, and then assumed that they were going to find somebody later on in the draft. It actually works the other way. You keep firing and going, trying to get all these picks, and then you add when you find out which one of these picks works.
John, you there?
I'm here.
Who we firing?
All right. For one, I'm with everybody else who want Chris Grier fired.
Patrick Mahomes, why are you calling our show?
Don't do that. Let him fire.
If I hear McDaniel say, I think, or again, I'm going to lose my stuff.
We're firing Mike McDaniel's voice.
You're not wrong, man.
Me and my buddies have a drinking game that says, how many wide receiver screens are you going to throw today? Every time he throws it, we got to take a shot.
Wow, you guys must be plastered by the end of the game.
By halftime.
Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy. But, yeah, Grier needs to go.
All right, see you, John.
Oh, he did sound like Patrick Mahomes.
He did.
Yeah.
How's your ankle?
So, again, I'm going to try to explain all of this. When you have the pressure that Tua was having up the middle, then there's two solutions. You either run the sweep to get away from it, you roll your quarterback out, or you throw quick screens. So the reason why there were so many quick screens is because there was so much pressure up the middle. You're just trying to now adjust to what you have and not what you want to do. So the game plan was gone. Now you're just trying to produce and win the game. And so that's why you saw so many of those screens. I will say this, though. They pursued to the ball really well.
Great defense.
So when that ball got out there were 5-6 guys over there.
Well, that's what, and their defense that had, I think, 2 of their top 3 leading tacklers out. Like, one of them was suspended because of the Lawrence hit, and then the other guy, Petrie, was out. Like, but still, like, you wouldn't have known. Like, that team just still has the identity of the team. They're great at turning the football over.
It's the identity of the team, right? I don't care who's in there. We're running to the ball. We're going to play defense a certain style. And that's kind of what's happening on the other side with our defense. That's kind of, you've had a lot of guys in and out of there, but they all seem to play a certain way. And so from that standpoint, yeah, I can see it. Now, it's easier to do that on the defensive side. Like, I don't care how good you cover or how well. Having a rule that we're going to run to the ball or your ass not going to be in there, right? It seems to triculate through the whole defense. So, yeah.
Elgin, who we firing?
Yo, I just want to start off by saying I'm a huge fan of the show, long-time listener. Happy holidays to everybody. I hope y'all get lost in the chili sauce this holiday season.
Appreciate you, buddy.
But yeah, man, it's just one of those things, as with everybody else was saying, Chris Grier, I definitely think needs to go. But honestly, the thing that I'm always so frustrated with the Dolphins is they seem to fire one guy but keep another guy. I really think, man, in my opinion, that we need to just completely clean the house all the way through, including the coach, in my opinion. I know it's probably not going to be the most popular opinion, but it's like, how many years are we going to keep doing this mediocrity thing, man? And I understand the rebuild is tough too, but I just don't see how it's working with this lineup of coaches and GM. I just don't see it. I mean, they don't make adjustments from year to year. I mean, Chris Grier laughed in our face when we asked about the offensive line, and look who's laughing now. It's just it's laughable, the whole situation, man. And then also, I'm sorry, man, but Jason Sanders, you're dead to me, dude. That guy don't know nothing.
So let me ask this, and I ask you this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to fire everybody, are you ready, or are you gonna be okay with it taking 4 or 5 years to revamp it?
I just think the question is, does this feel like it's ever got a chance to?
No.
I'm telling you,
But we can guarantee that it's going to be 3, 4, 5 years if you do that.
That's fine.
So are you ready to go through that? So for the next 3 years, we're going to hear, oh, it's been 20 plus, it's been 20 something years, it's been 20 something. And then after 3 years, because you haven't been
take
patient.
the Texans that long.
Yeah, because they had all our damn picks. No. But if you do that, then if after 3 years you're not satisfied, because keep in mind, you don't really have any picks.
Mm-hmm.
After 3 years, are you going to say, let's fire these guys? At some point,
But in fact,
I don't know when it is.
Right.
At some point, you're going to have to be patient and ride it out.
I just think the thing that's interesting is like, okay, Brian Flores didn't get this much of a leash. He got the heave-ho because they were going to bring in Sean Payton. And Chris Grier's been here for 25 years.
Yeah, but the Brian Flores thing had other stuff. The Brian Flores thing, I think, had almost 10% coaching, 90% other stuff.
Sure.
So it was never about his coaching.
Okay.
You see what I mean?
So is this about Mike McDaniel's coaching, or is it about his other stuff? Because it seems like if he's good at the other stuff, which is people like him, but he comes short on the coaching and doesn't have a plan B, like, so then what's the fair answer? I don't know. I like Mike McDaniel. Don't get me wrong, and I think what he did with Tua was good, but it does feel like it's capped. Like Leroy, their record against winning teams is awful.
Right.
Awful.
It's been awful for a while.
Dude.
It's been awful for a while.
Dude, but, okay, their record, this team.
Okay,
that
but you
coach,
can say
that
about the last 3 coaches you've had.
Awful.
Yeah, it's just in general. This organization's record against winning teams the last 10 years. So, like, all I'm saying is, whatever you want to do, that's fine. But at some point, if you want to get rid of everybody, okay. But at some point, you're going to have to be patient with the new process, the new scheme, and are you fine with that? Because my whole argument this whole time to you has been, you're not that patient.
Mm-hmm.
And you just start the cycle over and over again every 3 years. Because, right? For the last, every coach, 3 years. Oh, I knew, dude. I knew. That's fine. But are you willing to do this again? That's my only question.
Ricardo, who we firing?
Good morning, Tobes, Leroy, Marcos, J Fig. How we doing today, crew?
Could be better.
Of course. And I'm gonna be the voice of the chat and probably anybody in South Florida right about now. And Leroy, I get it. We would be throwing away $50 million, and to be honest with you, it's our own damn fault. We reap what we sow. Tua's got to go.
Wow.
And I will say it. The reason why he's got to go is because we've been given over this 5-year span of opportunity after opportunity after opportunity, and regardless of injury, regardless of this, that, and the third, Tua has been put on the pedestal to say, hey, change it up, buddy. Take us there. And he has not done so.
He has not taken
any cost at any situation. It is not, I'm hating on him or whatever. He shows you through his actions. People show you who they are through action, not through words. And we've seen it year after year now that he crumbles like a cookie. So what are we going to look at now going forward in terms of how do we fix this offense? Because people will point at coaching and then putting the players with the GM and blah, blah, blah. But your QB's at the helm trying to make it happen, and he's not making it happen. 3 picks yesterday when we really needed him to save the season. Blame Tyree, blame who you want, but he's the one who threw those footballs.
He said highest paid him.
Arm.
He's you don't have to add the noodle arm.
Okay, so you want to get rid, but here's you want to get rid of Tua.
He does.
I heard the same conversation with Ryan Tannehill, right?
I think though,
but
here's the thing though. Tua, I think, though he's been through his adversity, has always thought he was going to be a better prospect than Ryan Tannehill. Okay, like that is what I would say is the difference between, like, Ryan Tannehill was a consolation prize in the Andrew Luck draft with RG3. Like, Tua was a guy that people wanted to tank for years, and yes, he had to go through some awful working situations with Brian Flores, whether you agree with Flores or not. Comes out on the other side of it with a coach that he likes. They put up good numbers, but it does, he's also a flawed quarterback. He is flawed. It's not that he's not good. I will not sit here and say Tua sucks, because I'm not. I'm a fan of Tua.
Right.
But it does feel like, does this guy ever have a snowball's chance in hell of being a guy who can take them over the top?
But there's only 5, 6, 7 quarterbacks like that in the league. So, like, but you can win with other quarterbacks. Like, you don't have to be the top 5 or 6 or 7 in the league to win. And I think we're putting so much on a position that we're failing to look at the rest of them.
The thing that I think annoys a lot of people about him, though, and I think, I because I've spent most of my time supporting him, is like, you can never just have a conversation or never just hold him accountable, because it feels like we always got to protect his feelings and protect his reason.
Absolutely can.
And I feel like, anybody who just wants to be reasonable, like, hey, what he's doing, he's done good stuff. He's done good stuff. I won't call the guy a bum. I think he's a good quarterback, but to the standard of what we're expecting from him to take that leap, to take that next step, and all the bleep that he's talked, he hasn't done that. And he especially hasn't done it in the games they really needed him to. So, is that worth cutting bait on? That I would question. I would say, like, out of the guys, like, I would say, even if you brought in a new coach, I think Tua's good enough in certain. I think that this is a very flawed team. I don't know how much more the him and Tyreek duo seems like it's going to work out, because it seems to me, and I don't know what you're seeing, Leroy, but it seems to me like those guys haven't been on the same page all year, which is odd because they had beautiful chemistry for 2 years. But I think yesterday, like, dude, the 4 turnovers yesterday. Could have had 5.
What I tried to do in this moment is, like, look at that game and look at the way it played out and say, could I have somebody else there and the result be different? And that's why I bring all the other stuff in, right? Because, like I said, the game plan was get rid of the ball quickly because of the rush, but the problem was you couldn't stop the rush up the middle, and that caused a problem when you're, first of all, 6 feet and you're taking 3-step drops and trying to throw it down the field. Makes it difficult to see. So you pat the ball a lot. If I take somebody else and put them in that position, the only other quarterbacks I could think of that would be successful are the ones that can run, like really run.
Yeah.
Because there was no protection.
It was a bad line. I get it.
And so I'm getting, like, I understand.
But there were also opportunities, and it was a game that you, like, Leroy, they had the ball. Like, they controlled that game.
They
controlled that game.
Right.
And to do that even with a paper mache line that you put together, like, he had his chances and he blew it. He blew it. And that's just that.
Let's get rid of him too.
That's
fine.
Who we firing?
That's fine. Like, I just don't see. I look at the long-term thing, and I've been down here long enough to know that fans just keep complaining that there's no solution.
But there's also never been a playoff, like, since we've been down here and doing radio, they've never won a playoff game.
Right. And I understand that too. But you also have to, like, okay, is it the players? Is it the coaching? Is it the management? Okay, who selects the players? Like, there should be somewhere to go with it so that you can fix it, instead of just saying, let's get rid of everybody and bring new people in and recycle and live this thing all over again.
But the thing is, like,
when it's going to get better, when is it going to get better?
I think they got to get a new guy to pick players.
So when the players are different,
I think that the whole philosophy is stupid. Even like Tua earlier in the year when he's like, but it doesn't matter who I have in front of me because I get rid of the ball quick.
Right.
Chris Grier being like, it doesn't matter. We're laughing at your concerns of the O-line. Like they duped themselves into this.
Okay, so you like, and I've already expressed why I think that I had a problem with what went on this year.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There's just a couple of spots you could have had Van Ginkel for like nothing.
Sweet AVG.
As far as pass rushers, for nothing. You know, I had a problem with them getting rid of Christian Wilkins, but guess what?
Mm-hmm.
They're playing fine inside.
Playing fine.
So I can't, you know, but there's a lot of other positions like this offense, dude. It's been 3 years where I don't care who's playing quarterback. They look like they're running for their lives.
Mm-hmm.
3 years. So, yes, you could say it's the players. Okay? So, if it's the players, do you understand what it's going to take to replace? You might have to trade a couple of guys.
I think if you're threatening waiting, I think Dolphin fans have a black belt in waiting right now.
Yes. No, I know. I'm not saying that from the point of waiting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying that from the point of sometimes you get so caught up in what you want right now, you don't realize you may be signing yourself up for more waiting. And so you don't care. You don't care. Hey, let's just wait and draft the quarterback. And like all these things that you necessarily want to do to make your team better is prolonging that and probably stretching it out and making it a little longer. So at the end of next year, we're going to have the same conversation, but it's going to be about something else if you do that. So I don't know what the answer is. I do know the problems that people have been talking about are valid, but if you want to fix it, I'm more concerned with how do you fix it so you don't have to wait the maximum amount of time because you've replaced everybody.
Tim, who are you firing?
It's not Tua's fault. The one we need to fire is NFL insider Marcos for putting so much pressure on him for running the ball that he didn't go to.
You tell
the problem.
You fire the front boy!
I'll be the scapegoat, but I didn't throw those picks yesterday, dude.
You and your parlays are causing these troubles.
I mean, Jalen Waddle, does he have to get injured all the time, dude? 40 yards is all I needed.
I tell you what, I learned a valuable lesson in the beginning of my career.
Mm-hmm.
There's a saying in the NFL. Don't stand around the pile counting your change.
Kiting?
Counting.
What was that?
Counting your change.
Back after this.
It's a big word for me, dog.